Well, it's disappointing that a loss came for your team this afternoon. You must be tremendously proud of the effort across 45 minutes, including the overtime period.
I kind of called half the group out after the Brisbane game where I said I needed a little bit more grit and desire, and then we responded in such with that win down in Tassie, and I felt like we've done that since then. Again, you look at someone like Mojave and KG and Lockie especially, where this is an opportunity, especially with bodies out. And again, I looked to them today as well and gone, they've done their job serviceably, and it was great. So, look, it's disappointing, but it's a 7-man rotation where we've got guys ready to come in and help support them. The pieces that will help us will hopefully be enough to get us over the line. I'm sure we're playing a bit of catch up, but once we come out of it, the other end of the FIBA break, is when we'll hopefully want to continue with this type of form with the extra pieces, just to be able to at least provide a little bit of rest.
Having that combination of Mojave King and Jack McVeigh together, that must be something to look forward to after that FIBA break, when you get a bit more time with this group. And what's ahead of you?
Yeah, Mo was fantastic. Again, like picking up cotton down one end and trying to get us points on the other end, and played 42 minutes in the process. 3 weeks ago he was not playing. So just super impressed by him, and naturally super impressed by Jack, because we knew the type of athlete, player and person that he was. But with Mo, I've never really interacted with him before, and so for what he's provided with us the last 2-3 weeks, just been uber impressive. Like, just great dude, good spirit, good character in the change room, competitive, works hard. When we're doing our practice at the moment, because we're managing some bodies, and so even now, like our practices, we're not necessarily running 5-on-5 because we're nursing a lot of injuries and fatigue, and so we got some other guys having to do extras to sort of make sure their conditioning is topped up. And Mo's in that group where he's doing extra before practice. He does practice. He does his pep stuff with the coaches, and he stays afterwards and shoot. Like, again, things that because basketball's a small world and a network, right? And one of the things that they talked about, maybe Mojave of old, was his work ethic. I've got no issue with his work ethic. He's done more than I've asked him to do, and again, that's just a nice little surprise where I got this 23-year-old who is taking an opportunity. He's busting his butt at practice every day. He'd be with us now for the remainder of the season, obviously with Alex being out. Just, again, super excited, especially with that pairing, as you said, with Jack, but with Wardenberg to come back into the piece too. Exciting times ahead.
And I have to mention about the fact with Jack McVeigh this afternoon, the last 4 games, he's been 20.25 points, obviously after coming back from the injury, getting time with your group. You've had an average of 85 points as a team, so he's starting to score the ball more. And then he comes out and gets a career high this afternoon, 39, beating his previous 28 points against Adelaide and Tasmania, as well as against Melbourne United. What a phenomenal performance from Jack McVeigh this afternoon.
Yeah, and we just need to give him some help. It was always designed around the idea that Wardenberg and Jack were, if we're putting up anywhere between 80 to 85 field goal attempts a game, they're going to take the lion's share of that. They're going to have at least like 35 combined, with the field goal attempts. And so, right now Jack's taken 25 of them, which is great, but we'll get him some more help. And I want him to not shy away, especially when Wardenberg's back.
Coach, can you tell us a little bit about the preparation coming into the game? Short turnaround from Friday night. How did you address it with the players, and what were your expectations coming in, given that there weren't too many people that thought you could win here?
It was very similar, I guess, to we had a road double where it was Brisbane Tassie, and so it's a quick turnaround. So we spend all week preparing this one for Southeast, which again for 2.5 quarters, we did very well. And so with the fact that again we got 7 guys playing, the recovery is paramount. So this is where again, like guys like Rogan, who's part of our high performance team, we had Braden with us with the physio, that takes priority. So we get the flight over, we make sure the guys are fed, make sure they get hydrated and they sleep. And then really it's just, assistant coaches connecting with guys individually to show them some clips, because you don't want to occupy their time too much. We do a quick little team review and then a team prep, and then we do our pre-game stuff. But yeah, it's a quick turnaround. But the reality is basketball's probably secondary. It's about trying to make sure the guys feel good and up and about for this one, which, again, to go into overtime, I wish we had a chance to win it because we were running out of bodies. I don't think we would have survived a double overtime with the guys in foul trouble, but super proud of them because that's the fight and desire that I asked for probably 3 weeks ago. And ever since then, they've responded in that fashion.
And it's back-to-back overtime games here in Adelaide where you've come up just short. So it must be hard for you as well, being so close. You're up in OT, had opportunities in OT that didn't go your way. How do you sort of compress all that?
I mean, there's things you can fix, right? So we talk about, the rebounding. We gave up a couple of second chance turnovers. There's things we can fix. There's things we can't fix, right? And there's nothing you can fix with that. So it's frustrating when it feels like momentum swings are orchestrated, not in our favour. Can't do anything about that. But, the things that we can control, which is, again, the second chance points and the turnovers. But, when I sit here and say that, majority of that solution is going to be fixed with 4 guys returning. And that's what we're going to be making sure that we don't then just take a back step when those guys return. We almost have to get them integrated back into the group, maintaining the same level of energy and enthusiasm that this group showed tonight.
Adam, has Mojave been better than you even thought he was going to be when you picked him up? I mean, he's got length, he's got range, he had the Bryce job for pretty much all night. Has he been even better than advertised? He's
been fantastic. And this is, and again, timing and luck works in everybody's favour. And so, when we had the injuries that we had, one of the things, right, with NBL 1 and NBL running opposite to each other is it's a struggle to find guys that you can get in as injury replacement players that have a level of conditioning ready to be thrown in, right? So, some of the contacts that we spoke to with guys, the last time they played basketball, competitive basketball, would say 2 months ago. They'll say they stay in shape, but, there's a real difference between staying in shape and playing competitive basketball. And Mo was one of those guys I had a conversation with, and he was working out with Brisbane at the time. So the fact that he was available is crazy, but amazing timing. The basketball gods gave us something to sort of help us through this adversity, and we happily accept. But he's 23. He's done so much in basketball already. It's hard to really articulate exactly what I want to say about Mo because he has been amazing. 21 points again tonight, and as you said, had a large majority of that assignment with Cotton and was tired doing it too. I'm glad he's on our team and I get to work with him for the next 3-4 months.
On the injuries, do you expect Cole, Cody and Rain to come back next week? Is that
No, December 6th. This one, we got one more game where we're like this and we got all week to rest the bodies. Again, practice is different for us at the moment because it is what it is. You control what you can control, and we want to try and keep things competitive in a controlled environment where we don't run the risk of further hurting ourselves. But the FIBA break is going to be long awaited, and then we come out the other end and we should be full strength for the most part.
You're coming back on Christmas Eve. That should be a good contest with those players you're talking about being in harness then?
Yeah, it's always a good venue. The crowd gets into you. They're within a earshot that you can hear what they're saying about you, and it's fantastic, right? It's that competitive spirit. But again, things that we can change. There's going to be things that we can't change because that's the nature of it, right? We're sitting at the bottom of the ladder. We have to earn the respect from particular groups, right, to be able to feel like we're getting the benefits of that. Until we start stringing together some wins, there's not going to be much changing from that.
You spent time with Bryce in Perth. We know what he's like, but he has this phenomenal record against the Cairns Taipads. That can't be thrilling for you.
Yeah, no, he always talks about the warm gym. He's always like I said, I think he's just a phenomenal player. When you talk about what he's been able to do in his career, move aside from just the awards, right? The way he's able to impact the game. There's not too many players and it's always an interesting conversation, especially with new guys coming in to the league. And you sit here and you talk about, okay, well, Bryce Cotton, you got to defend in this particular way, or he's really good at this, and especially when new imports coming in, they'll be like, oh, yeah, there was a guy like that in Europe, or there was a guy like that in G League. I was like, no, you got to understand, his level of comfort in this NBL has him playing at a level that is generational, right? And they're like, yeah, no, I get that. Like, you know, like we had a guy in Croatia that played like, no, you don't understand, right? This is a guy that can swing the momentum of the game in his favour and control it, right? Again, last time we played him, it came down to the wire. I think it was a few possessions, and he has 52. And so he single-handedly can swing games in his favour and come out with that result. And then usually after the game, the new guys will come up and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I see what you're talking about, right? There's like 7 stages of like denial with that. Is first they understand that it's like, here's what it is. So it's frustrating, then it's anger, then it's disappointment, sadness. And at some point they turn around and come to acceptance that he's a generational player. So, no, like, and now he's an Australian. It's like, like you're rolling. You got four imports there, and I got 3 injury replacement players and 2 DPs. And again, I want to bring it back to my group. That's what I'm super proud of. Like, we just battled through it. Sucks that we lost, but it is what it is.
Is there room on your Australian 3x3 team for Bryce Cotton?
Oh, I didn't even think of that. That is, I'm going to start talking to him about that. That is actually, yeah, no, I'm all about that. That's a great suggestion. I appreciate that. That was a good one.
And your team's your first in 3-point frequency and last within 8 feet. Tonight you had 30 looks within 8 feet, and you obviously ran that horn set early. That shot profile, have you guys talked about changing that a little bit, or is it just whatever presents itself in the game? Or?
Well, I think, and again, like, so here's an example, right? Like, so Andrew, we did this whole review process with Drew not getting these calls. And so you send through stuff to the NBL and you say, okay, well, is this a foul? Is that a foul? Is this a foul? Is that a foul? And they're like, yep, no, cool. Let's address this. Let's look at this. And then I come back and go, well, he has a reputation of being a flopper in Europe. And I say, well, I'm not talking about Europe. I'm talking about here, right? So now when he does get fouled, he doesn't get the call, because you've got the NBL and the referee saying that, well, he has a reputation as a flopper. So even when he does get fouled, he doesn't get it. So what's the suggestion is you say, well, just shoot the midi and shoot the 3, because you're not getting them, right? And when we drive and he's driving and he's getting fouled, nothing changes, and that is what it is. So, okay, well, we have to adjust and be like, well, just shoot it. Just shoot the 3, shoot the midi, because no matter what you do when you drive to the lane, are some of them flops? Yeah, sure. Most of them aren't now, and it gets to the point where there's physical contact and it's just a reputational call. Reputational calls happen everywhere, right? Some are positive and benefit. Some are, hey, this guy's a flopper, so every time he falls down, he will get a flop warning, whatever it may be. In Drew's case, they just don't respect him enough to send him to the foul line. It is what it is. So
is that part of the reason why your turnover rates come down over the last month as well? Because you find, look, we just have to take these shots because we're not going to get the calls.
100%. So you rather come down and just come off an on ball and try and get clear enough to shoot it and give yourself a crack at it, because again, when you move that ball through, Mo King got fouled, right? So we sit here and go, okay, let's run a little bit of 5-out action, and it'll be no different when Wardenberg comes back. Wardenberg has an incredible knack of getting on the rim. Now here's a stat for you. This won't get me in trouble because it's the NBL stats. So the NBL does their review process, right? And they'll send through the stats of every player with miss or make calls. Last season, Sam Wardenberg had the biggest discrepancy for for and against in terms of correct calls, missed calls. We're not talking about calls for and against. So I can sit here and go, bro, change this. Or I can accept it and go, well, this is from the NBL, where out of the 100-something players available, Sam Wardenberg is the one that has the biggest discrepancy, and it's the NBL stats, not me making it up, of correct first. Okay, Wardenberg, just shoot it. Just get on the rim, lay it up, shoot the 3 ball, because you're not getting the calls. He gets frustrated. We all get rattled. Like, there were segments throughout the game where we got rattled. Oh, it's frustrating, but just shoot it then. And that's where, again, like, Sko hit a timely 3, KG hit some timely 3s. Momentum can swing, right? And every time we felt like we hit an appropriate 3, you know, Mike called a timeout. So that was good for us, because it was almost a point where I was going to burn my last timeout in the end of regulation. But what's the alternative, right? Turnover, because we're getting upset we're not getting the calls. Is what it is.
I'll be very quick, Forde, because you've been sitting there for a while, but I just wanted to, in your words, how would you describe how you did this tonight? Because you're coming off, playing on Friday, travelling across the country, you're playing a team that's fresher than you and just added another import, you're playing 7 bodies and 2 of them foul out and 2 of them are your imports that didn't have great nights. How would you sum up how you did that tonight and how you were so competitive?
We got, like you said, like Marcus has got both his thumbs taped up. Sko gets acupuncture, more like he's a pincushion at this rate with groin and hips and calves. And I can rattle off the list of all the little nagging injuries the guys got, but they got a big heart. They got a big heart. And this is where I enjoy coaching this group. It's easy, right, to roll up to practice and be like, oh, man, where's the motivation? Because we lost again and we're bottom of the ladder and so forth. But these guys care. And this is it, right? Like, it would have been easy enough to roll into Adelaide and be like, oh, let's just go through the motions, tick a box and get home. But they cared. They played hard. They gave everything they got. Now we'll fly back tomorrow and we'll train on Monday. And no one's late. Everybody is on time. Guys wear their uniforms. There's no little indiscretions of like, oh, this import's upset, so, he's going to roll up 5 minutes to video late, or this guy's upset and he doesn't want to train, or they, small things, right? They stop wearing their uniform or whatever it may be. We don't have any of that. And so I'm kind of real lucky in the sense of here we are in the position we are on the ladder. We got return to play guys that are busting their ass. We got guys on the court that are busting their ass. We got injuries, but our heart's fine and they're big, and that's what we just keep asking to deliver every week.
Thanks, Forde.
Thanks. Beautiful. Awesome.